Welcome to Mitchell's Memories, Part 27. In the early 1990s, my teacher in India, Guruji, he invited me to join him in Poland for a yoga retreat. Members of our yoga group were meeting in a pretty Polish countryside for like 1 week or 10 days of meditation. And Guruji asked me to come because of my expertise in yoga, meditation, and he wanted me to give talks to the group. I was very honored to have that assignment. I came to Poland. I spoke my first lecture to the group, and afterward, most of the people didn't speak English, so it was translated into Polish, and most of them asked questions in Polish, and it was translated into English. But then a very young Polish woman named Monika raised her hand and asked a question to me. And you know what, to this day, I don't remember what the question was, because the very moment she uttered just a few words, it had an overwhelming effect on me. I lost consciousness of this world. I felt my heart swell up in bliss. I felt electrical sensations running up and down my body. I actually heard sounds, in fact, the sounds of music. And this deeply, deeply affected me. And then I came through and I best as possible answered her question. But afterwards, that's all. That experience was all that I could think about. And actually, that experience reminded me of my dream when I was 12 years old, when I was in a little raft in the ocean, and then a young woman swam to me, and I lifted her into my raft. And afterwards, I vowed that would be the woman. If I ever got married, that would be the woman I would marry. And then I felt I had found that woman. But strangely, I never mentioned this experience to Monika. I wanted to keep boundaries, that I was like a yoga teacher and she was a student. Anyway, for whatever reason, I decided to keep quiet. I came back to California, and then next ensuing several years, I went back to Poland twice. But again, I never mentioned that experience to Monika. Then in December 1998, Guruji invited me to India. There was going to be a big celebration for the 25th anniversary of the ashram in India. This was actually the ashram that was made very near where I had practiced meditation in the jungle, in the tents. And so I came to that celebration, and who did I meet there? I was shocked. That was Monika. Monika was there. And that was the only time that she ever went to India. So it just so happened that our trips coincided, like it was meant to be. And that first evening, I was going to the temple to meditate. And first, Monika stopped me and she said, "Mitchell, I want to tell you that I had a dream about you." And I said, "Okay, tell me your dream." And she just started to say a few words, and I literally went into a trance. I didn't hear anything more of anything about her dream. And I went somewhere deep. And in that place, I experienced something. And then in a few moments, I came out of it, but I couldn't remember exactly what the specifics. But I knew the general idea was that I realized that Monika and I are ancient friends. And Monika and I have a deep, deep connection between us. And again, that experience was so overwhelming. Monika was only in India for a very short time, and she was going to go home several days later. And as she was about to leave, go into the taxi and leave to go to the train station and back to Poland, I had the courage and I said, "Monika, can we stay in touch?" And she said yes. And this started a beautiful several years of long distance correspondence. Monika didn't have email, so I wrote her a letter, and then a couple of weeks later I got a response from her, and back and forth. And the more we wrote, the more we got to know each other, the closer we became. And Monika started to write beautiful poetry in English. And then she would make amazing drawings. She had a tremendous artistic talent. And I would write poetry back to her. And sort of like we just got to know each other, and we just we melted together. We didn't see each other for many, many years. Finally, in 2004, Monika moved to the United Kingdom, actually first to Scotland. And now she finally had email, and she invited me to come and visit her. In the flat she was staying, there were several rooms, and there was a room that was vacant. So I came and stayed in that room in Scotland, and we went touring together in the Highlands of Scotland. It was so beautiful. We had just had an amazing time together. Every time we met, every time we corresponded, it seemed we were just getting closer and closer and closer. Several years later, she moved to London and invited me, and I came again and visited her there. And we had a great time touring London together. And I knew in my heart that Monika and I were meant to be. But first I invited her to come to Florida to meet my parents. My mom and dad were retired in Florida. And I wanted to get them to meet her and give their blessings. So Monika came to Florida, and I came from California, and we all met at my parents' flat in Florida. And just as I had hoped, my parents were shocked. They never knew. I never told them, or I never told anyone about my correspondence and relationship with her. So they were just overjoyed. And they loved Monika, and to them, she was their daughter. And to Monika, my mom and dad were her parents. And I saw everything was beautiful. And I knew it was time to ask the question. So I said, Monika, I have a question for you. But before I could even ask the question, Monika said yes. Monika accepted my marriage proposal even without my even asking for it. And a couple of days later, we were married in the civil ceremony in Delray Beach, Florida. Afterwards, she returned to Poland, to London. I returned to California. I worked. It took about 6 or 7 weeks to get my visa to go live in London. On the 15th of May, we met up in Florida again. And then we had a second wedding ceremony. And this time it was a wedding party, not just my mom and dad, my brother and sister, and many other close friends and relatives were there. And it was at Brooks Restaurant in Deerfield Beach. And you saw the wedding photo of our marriage. And by the way, I want to say I was so happy that my mom and dad and brother and sister were there, because this was I really needed their support, and they were there for me. It was a very big deal. I was very emotional for me to leave the ashram, to leave the yoga group that I was with for 40 years and make a new life. And it was very emotional, very difficult, but something I wanted to do. But they gave me amazing support, so I'm so grateful for them, and so grateful that they were there at my wedding. And then we moved. At the wedding, I read a poem as sort of like my vow. I just want to read a few words from it. Together they walk on the path of love, each a servant of each other. Just as two rivers which join with the ocean and become one, Mitchell and Monika have met and merged in the ocean of love. One heart, one soul, one being, one love. And we moved to London. 5 years in Walthamstow we lived, now 5 years in a little flat here in Chingford. And it's been a 5-star life that we've had together. We are living literally in the Garden of Eden. That's how happy we are. Our love grows every day. We become closer and closer with each and every passing day. As it says in the poem, we are servants to each other. I help Monika, Monika supports me, and that's how we live, 50-50, equal partners. We are one. We live a life of peace, of harmony, of joy, of beauty, and of love. We just celebrated our 10th wedding anniversary, and we're looking forward to many, many, many more happy years together. Thank you, everyone, for hearing my story.